when Sony announced during its February State of Play presentation that the Santa Monica studio was working on a remake of the original God of War trilogy, it dropped a small but significant bombshell at the end of that announcement. Megacat Studios, along with Santa Monica Studios, worked on a very secret project, as there had never been a single leak or rumor about this air quotes small project, in which Kratos was also a protagonist. The announcement of God of War Sons of Sparta surprised me. A 2D Metroidvania game with pixel art, graphics, and it tells the story of Kratos' adventures in his preteen years alongside his brother Deimos? I just said, count me in, compadres. The ingredients for making the game were coming together perfectly, and the trailer showed that they were cooking them at the optimal temperature, eh? But the biggest bombshell was its release date. Sony launched it immediately. A shadow drop, man, as it's called in the video game realm. As a big fan of the God of War saga, I had no doubt that I wanted to play it. And well, after my first few hours of gameplay, I can assure you, I really enjoy it. The Metroidvania subgenre suits the game perfectly. Like when Thanos put on the Infinity Gauntlet, it was smooth as butter. Also, since we control a very young Kratos, his adventures have a light-hearted feel, not as grand as the odysseys in the games where Kratos is already an adult. This God of War Sons of Sparta is, chronologically speaking, the first in the entire series of 10 video games, featuring the Spartan god slayer. Sons of Sparta is set in the Greek era, before God of War Ascension in 2013, and incorporates elements from God of War Ghost of Sparta. The game is narrated by Kratos himself, telling the story to his daughter Calliope. This part is really sad, because as we know, Kratos killed his wife and daughter when he was tricked by the Greek gods into attacking a village where his daughter and wife were hiding. In Sons of Sparta, you control a teen Kratos, who is undergoing military training to become a Spartan warrior. Alongside him, his brother Deimos, a little younger than Kratos, accompanies us. Deimos convinces Kratos to search for a friend who hasn't returned from training and is still lost in the outskirts of the city. There, the two brothers embark on a genuine, light-hearted and entertaining adventure to find this young man in the Laconia region of Greece, whose capital is Sparta. And as I said before, in these first few hours, I had a fantastic time. The gameplay seems intuitive, precise, and very easy to learn and execute. Since this is a childhood version of Kratos, his signature weapons, the Blades of Chaos, aren't present. But I've done a lot of damage with the Spartan Spear, which is trusted weapon of the Spartan soldiers. So far, I also been able to unlock some special items, like a slingshot/zipline, very similar to the one David used against Goliath. But it's not the only new special item. I also have a bust, and I'm not talking about anatomical sculpture. Don't be naughty. I mean, a sculpted bust that emits a kind of violet beam, and that same beam causes some doors or structures to open or activate some mechanism. These special items are mostly used in small puzzles that have made me use my internal CPU without overheating it, of course. They're quite clever, and I feel smart when I solve them. Sons of Sparta at first glance might seem like a superficial and casual game, but it's quite the opposite. The game offers a deep gameplay, visual details, historical knowledge of the saga, a skill tree to learn, and even a weapon and shield upgrade system very similar to the God of War 2018 games and its sequel, Ragnarok. The game featuring this little brat. Annoying. Since Sons of Sparta is a Metroidvania, a platforming and action game with a lot of exploration, the world is intentionally very labyrinthine, but it's a joy to explore every corner of these levels. For example, so far I've seen forests, ruins, the city of Sparta, and underground passages very similar to modern aqueducts. There's a lot of variety in the first few hours of gameplay, may I say. As for the enemies, fans of the original trilogy will be rubbing their hands together in anticipation of the fact that all the adversaries from those games set in Greek mythology return and are present in Sons of Sparta. Minotaurs, Cyclops, Harpies. Hey, and I'm not talking about your ex-girlfriend, eh? And also rotting soldiers. In short, a miscellany of enemies that attack and behave in an unique and individual ways to give combat dynamism in every encounter. And of course, the signature elements of the God of War games are present. I'm talking about the giant, titanic, colossal, mammoth bosses. Ladies and doggies, those bosses are definitely in the game. And they are fuego, baby. I already had to face a huge bird that attacked me with sonic speed, as well as a bombastic belly blows. It was tough, but I overcame it. Man, speaking of difficulty, I'm grateful that the developers included the option of having several difficulty modes. I am playing on normal. Firstly, because it's a perfect mix of enjoying the narrative with a good amount of gameplay challenge, without being frustrating or requiring hours and hours, and I may say hours of gameplay to get good at it. I believe games should have the option to choose the difficulty level that best suits the player. I don't have the same amount of time I did when I was 12 to spend 12 hours a day on a single video game. I'm not going to be sitting around scratching my mechanical huevos the whole day. I have things to do, man. With difficulty options in video games, everyone wins and no one loses. God of War Sons of Sparta has a great balance of deep and engaging casual gameplay, which I'm really enjoying so far. I recommend it not only to fans of the Kratos saga, who will get a little teary-eyed remembering what I consider the best Kratos, the one from the original trilogy, but also to fans of the Metroidvania-style games. The first hours have been amazing.
Hey, listen!